Hi, my name's Edward from the Percentage Company, and I'm going to walk you through how to set up the Cloudbeds to Xero accounting interface. The first step is to register your account on the percentageapp.co by going to the Get the App button, selecting the type of interface you're looking for, Cloudbeds to Xero, filling your property details, and signing up on the form. Once you've done this, you'll receive a series of emails and your account will be set up by the system automatically. Once you've received your logins, you can then log in at admin.thepercentageapp.co and your screen will look something like this. To connect your Cloudbeds and Xero accounts to the Percentage app, the first step is to click on Cloudbeds on the left side, followed by Setup. One thing to note is that while connecting Cloudbeds, Xero and the Percentage app together, you should have Cloudbeds, the Percentage app and Xero open in separate tabs of the same browser window. Once you've done that, click on Connect and you'll be redirected to Cloudbeds to authorize to allow the connection between the two applications. Once the connection has been approved, you'll see status connected. The next step is to connect to Xero. So click on Xero on the left-hand side and then go to Xero connection. Then all we need to do is click on Connect and Fetch. Once again, you'll be redirected to Xero, where you can authorize the connection between the Percentage app and your Xero account. Once you've successfully connected Cloudbeds and Xero in the Percentage app, you'll be automatically redirected to the account mapping page. On this page, starting from the top, you'll see document prefix. If you post many journal entries, you may wish to separate between those coming from the Percentage app and Cloudbeds to those that you're entering manually. You can do this by entering a prefix here. This is an optional setting. Another optional setting is posting house account transactions. If you use house accounts in Cloudbeds, then you may wish to transfer those transactions to Xero as well. You can do that by sliding this to active. Further down the page, the guest ledger. So the guest ledger is the difference between the revenue you've earned and the payments you've received. So mostly in-house guests. For the guest ledger, we recommend setting up a guest ledger account in your chart of accounts and assigning that a separate account. If you do use tracking in Xero, you do have the option to use those features throughout the mapping setup. Further down the page, we have the room revenue account. We recommend a separate room revenue account so that you can keep track in your accounting system of the total room revenues for each day. You can do that by selecting the account. Further down, you'll see those 4 tabs. So we have items and services, taxes and fees, payment types, and credit card types. Here we can map our Cloudbeds items, taxes, payments, and credit cards to the equivalent account in Xero in your chart of accounts. Starting with items and services, if you use add-ons in Cloudbeds, you may wish to map this to an account. For the purposes of this, I've selected Other Revenue. On the left-hand side, you'll see your Cloudbeds item, and on the right-hand side, you'll see Xero account. So, for example, you'll see breakfast is now not mapped, so I will select breakfast. This, for the purposes of this demonstration, is a food account, so I would map that to the food revenue in Xero. Once you've mapped all of these items that's available in Cloudbeds to be mapped, then you'll see the green message at the top. Next, we move to the taxes and fees, same setup. On the left-hand side, you have Cloudbeds tax fees. On the right-hand side, the Xero account, which you'd like to map those revenues to. The next step is payment types. Once again, if you use PayPal, you may wish to map that to a separate account. For the purposes of this demo, I've just created an accounts receivable account in Xero called Cash. But again, you may wish to separate each of these to their own separate GL account. This is purely up to you, depending on the level of granularity and detail you wish to see in your accounting system. Once all these are mapped, you'll see, for an example here, a third-party payment I've mapped to a City Ledger Agent 1. And Airbnb I've mapped to City Ledger. You may wish to create separate accounts, an accounts receivable for each individual agent or OTA. For example, you may wish to have City Ledger Agoda and City Ledger Expedia, City Ledger Booking.com. You can do this by creating a payment type in Cloudbeds and mapping that to a specific City Ledger account in your Xero chart of accounts, meaning each month you will see, or each day, you will see the current balance of accounts receivable for each agent or OTA. Once that's all mapped, again, we have the green. We can then move to credit card types. Here, I've split the credit cards to help with the reconciliation process. So you have Visa in Cloudbeds, which we've mapped to a Visa credit card accounts receivable account in Xero. And we also did the same with MasterCard. Once again, you can use tracking if you use that with your Xero account, but this is optional. Once all this is set up, we can just click Save. And just double check that you have the green, the no unselected items. Our system is not able to post unless 100% of your items, services, taxes, fees, and payment types are mapped. We believe in sending complete data, so it is required to map everything. Once you're happy that everything is mapped and you have the settings you wish, that's it. Once you've successfully mapped your accounts on the mapping page, the next step is to preview your journal entries. You can do this by going to Xero, Preview and Post Journal Entries Manually button. At the top of the page, you can select the date. Then you have various options below. You can run. Once the date is selected, you can post the journal to Xero. You can download and you can print the journal entry. Here you can select the date. I'll select yesterday's date because there's some transactions in our demo account, and then we click Run. Once it's loaded, you'll see there's a draft journal entry below according to the mapping that we've set in our system. Once you're happy with the result, you can then post the journal to Xero. If we then go to Xero and refresh the page, you'll see that that journal entry has been posted. Once you've tested posting a journal entry, you can then set up the automatic posting. To do this, you go to Xero, Auto Posting. Once the page loads, you can slide the auto posting to active and slide the journal notification as well. For the notifications, you can simply enter your email address here. You can also enter the email address in the email error notification. This email account will receive any mapping errors or any errors meaning that our system cannot post your journal entry on schedule. This email account will also receive a notification every time a journal entry is posted. The next step is to set up the posting time. By clicking on the box, the date picker will appear. We recommend selecting tomorrow's date and selecting 3 o'clock in the morning. Please note that our system will adjust for your time zone automatically, so we recommend selecting 3 o'clock in the morning and tomorrow's date. Once that's done, you click Save, and then the system will run automatically.